Good morning and happy Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. We're on our way to day 2, the final day of the Okie Homestead. And I will try and do a better job today than I did yesterday. It was so busy, and we were so busy working, and so were all the YouTubers. You could hardly get time to just stop and say hi to them. So maybe today will be a little less crazy, although I have a feeling today is going to be a lot more crazy because people who didn't come yesterday will come today. So, but I'll do my best, I promise. I'm wearing my Captain Payson shirt today. I'm not volunteering today, so unless they need us, then I can do something. But I am, as you can see, sunburned from yesterday. And Ed is really sunburnt from yesterday. And so he's wearing his hat today. Say hello, Mr. Ed.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
See how red his face is? And we were in the shade.
Only red because I'm in Cherokee Nation.
Oh, only red because you're in Cherokee Nation. Okay. That's kind of little interesting. Anyway, we're on our way to the Okie Homestead, and I had to get a pair of clip-ons because the sun is so bright here. And I will talk to you all later. Looks like I got a label on here. Yep. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay, we're here at the Okie Homestead, fixing to go in. Not sure where we go in at though. They put us in the different parking spot today. So, oh, we go in right over there. I will try really hard to get people we know. So hang on tight. Try this again. All right. Here's Mays County. Go on in. We'll follow you. No problem. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Hey guys, today I'm remembering to record. I hardly got anybody yesterday, so you're on candid cameras now. And I found your picture, so I'll show it to you. You did? Yeah, I did, so I'll show it to you. There's Bo Moorhead over there. So let me, hang on, I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna turn off.
Separate the picnic from the Boston butt, or the pluma from the secreto, or all these tiny little variegated, ridiculous names for butchery cuts that are out there. And they all change all the time. I'm thinking rather about how do I make this enormous, fatty thing fit my pot, my pan, and my oven. Because those are the 3 tools whereby you transform this into dinner. And those are also how you know the 3 recipes for meat cookery. So there are not 1,000 ways to cook meat. There are 3. It's braising, pan frying, and roasting. That's the whole thing. All of our meat cookery is just various versions of braising, pan frying, and roasting. So that's the class. Thank you. That's all I have to say about pig butchery. That's the whole story. You just got to cut this to fit your pot for braising, your pan for frying, and your oven for roasting. That's the whole deal. And just so we're on the same page, braising is a pot with a heavy lid, you know, like an enameled cast iron pot, and you put liquid in it: water, wine, beer, milk, bone broth, and water. You know, any liquid. You need liquid in there, and then you put a piece of meat in it and maybe some vegetables, and you just simmer it. And you simmer it for a couple of hours. So that's what braising is. It's the low temperature application of moist heat. We tend to do it in our crock pots these days, but I like to do it in a nice heavy enamel cast iron on the stovetop, just a subtle little trembling simmer. That's a braise. You can take any cut on any creature in God's glorious creation and braise it, and it will be delicious. So that's the secret about braising. You can braise pork chops, and it might be the best pork chop you've ever had.
It is.
If you just get good at braising. So that's braising. That's where we're going to put tough cuts. Pan frying is, y'all know what pan frying is, a little bit of oil, butter, lard in a pan, and it's direct heat. It's direct and it's hot and fast. You just brown it so it's nice and crispy on the outside and just done enough, and then you take it off. That's how we do chops or steaks, really hot and fast. That's pan frying. And then you have roasting. That's the application of dry heat in an oven, like roasting a chicken, roasting a leg of lamb, dry heat. And then there's smoking. So then there's barbecue, right? And barbecue is, you can do, if you are adept at the use of your barbecue, you know that you can do braising, pan frying, and roasting on your barbecue. The only difference with the barbecue is that you are using a primitive and flavorsome fuel source that also flavors the meat. It's still braising, pan frying, and roasting. If you wrap it in foil, you're braising it. You're trapping moisture, you're cooking it low and slow in moisture, right? That's what braising is, when the meat falls off the bone. That's the effect of moist heat turning collagen into gelatin. So then, now that you know how to cook all meat of every animal to perfect deliciousness, you just need to know what part to put in which vessel, right? The pot, the pan, or the oven. And you can deduce that by thinking about the way a four-legged beast ambulates, the way it walks. The muscles that get heavy use and frequent use are tough, ergo, they must be braised. That's how you melt them to even make them chewable. The cuts that get seldom use can just be cooked hot and fast and just like crisp on the outside. In fact, they're already so tender that they can be consumed raw. You don't need to break them down with cooking. They're there. They're already tender. And when you look at a four-legged beast, you can deduce where those particular tender cuts would be, right? Everything up here that articulates the front leg, the head, which weighs 17 pounds, this is all tough. All tough. Back here, when your pigs run around with glee at breakfast time, or when you spray them with a hose on a hot day, they're using this huge muscle. This is all tough on the back leg. Even right here in the middle, where the guts were, this is the belly. This is expanding and contracting with every breath and with every step the pig takes. It is therefore tough. The belly is tough. There is only one zone on a four-legged beast where there is tender flesh, and those are the muscles along the spine. We call them back straps on a deer. And that's because they're just a bridge from here to there. Four-legged beasts are not standing up, so they're not flexing those muscles like we do all the time. Unless some pigs on your farm are more equal than others, in which case you have a problem. But for that reason, they're tender. They're barely ever used by the pig. And so I know I can look at the front leg business, the back leg business, the belly stuff in the middle, or what we would call a flank and a plate on a cow. All tough. Braise it all, and it'll be wonderful. It'll be delicious. If they are tough and very fatty, which is what's going to happen with this, then the meat will braise itself in its own melting fat. That's what pulled pork is, right? That's why we are not going to trim any fat. That would be wrong. We can roast a Boston butt with full fat on it, right? Or like even a brisket on a cow, leave that fat on there. You can roast it in a dry oven, totally dry, and it still won't dry out because it's basting itself in its own melting fat. It's braising even though you're roasting it. Okay, I gotta stop talking about cooking, but that's the whole paradigm that I'm gonna follow with this. And so the goal then in butchery is to separate the tough musculature that gets heavy use from the tender musculature that gets little use. That's it. And to start that process, you got to quarter your side. So I guess technically we're eighthing it. But we're going to take this half a pig and cut it into quarters. And there's certain markers to help you do this. And again, these markers just distinguish and separate the tough from the tender. That's what they do. So the front end here, this is where the Boston butt, the picnic, the hawk, the trotter are, and the head was way out here. This we call the shoulder. This is the shoulder quarter. And you can count 1, 2, 3, 4 ribs in from the head. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in between the 4th and the 5th rib, muscles end and the tender ones begin. And the tender ones are in the loin, along the spine. And so I just have to cut all the flesh away with my knife along that line in between the 4th and the 5th rib. And when you do that, you just miss the shoulder blade, which is right here. You can't feel it, but I can. It's right there. That's the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade is part of heavy use. It's tough, all tough. And it stops exactly right in between the 4th and the 5th rib. That's why we picked that. Keeps the tough shoulder blade meat out of the tender loin. And then, before we do the back quarter, I'm going to take out our little skirt steak and our sheet of back fat. So that was just the rest of the diaphragm that'll go into the stock pot. Here's our kidney that was still in there from yesterday. Pork kidney. It's very delicious. It needs to be peeled of its membrane, which you can start with the tip of your knife. And there's the kidney. It's actually very mild. And it just needs to be liberated from the inner core, which is tough, and it's possible that it has the essence of pee-pee. And so if you cut out that inner core, your kidneys are going to be nice and mild and delicious, if they're fresh. All right, and then after removing the kidney, I am going to pull out the beautiful leaf fat. So this is the internal body fat of the pig, meaning it was right in there with all the guts. And we call it leaf fat, L-E-A-F, on account of the fact that it's going to come out in one continuous leaf. It comes out in a sheet. So this is the leaf fat. All right, I have to not talk about leaf fat for 30 minutes. This is very special. This is the purest fat on the pig, meaning when you render this meat, which just means melt it, you're melting it, it turns all liquid. And there'll just be a few little solids floating in there, but just a handful. And then you strain out those solids, and what you're left with is leaf lard. And leaf lard is the original shortening. It's the original shortening for your pie crusts, both sweet and savory pies. It is the highest yielding fat, and it is very mild. It does not have a porky, savory flavor. It's a neutral fat. It's really good. All the other fats, Crisco, hydrogenated vegetable oils, are bastard imposter fats. You just forget about those. Just do this. When you render this, though, you will get a much higher yield if you grind it first through a meat grinder. You can dice it, but to even get more lard from it, if you grind it, because you're exposing more surface area to heat, and then you put it in a pot without the lid. Don't put the lid on low heat, and you just melt it, and you'll see water vapor escaping, and that's what you want. And when the leaf lard it'll transition, it'll be just a solid mass of ground white fat, and then it will become opaque. It'll be like a white liquid, and then it will get clear, and then it will get a little yellow and a little golden, and you stop it at the golden phase. I don't know. I don't know what the maximum temperature is of the leaf fat. I just put it on my stove on low. That's right. Not too much, yeah. It definitely is getting hotter than boiling than 212 because water vapor is escaping, which is what you want. You are trying to get rid of that steam. Maybe that's what it is. I've never taken a temperature of leaf lard. It's all visual when it's golden. Then you're done. Strain it. Now, don't be worried if your kitchen smells of PP, because this is the leaf fat. It's right in there with the kidney. That means that the urea is evaporating. It's leaving, and it won't be in your lard. It will just hang around in your kitchen for 2 minutes, and then it's gone. So that's why you keep the lid off. If you keep the lid on, it'll trap it, and then your lard won't taste good. Yeah.
Is it best to render this separately or with the other fats?
Good point. I always render it separately because it is the specialist fat. Yeah, I render the leaf lard separate, and I wish, I don't even freeze it because it doesn't last long. What I have are 2 huge crocks that are like, what is that? 1.5 gallon, 2-gallon crocks, and I fill them with leaf lard. So straight from the hot pot through a strainer to catch the solids, there's just a few of them, into the crock, and that sits on my counter. Never even gets refrigerated. And because we left the lid off, it's shelf stable. And it just lives on our counter until it's gone in about 3 hours. No, it lasts a little longer. That would be a very fat pig. Maybe 2, I get about that, 2 gallons, maybe a little more. Yeah, depends. Yeah. And it's great, and we use it for everything. So that is your most neutral cooking oil. It's totally neutral. It does not taste strong and porky. It's neutral, and it's shortening for all of your baking. It's also delicious. Oh, we gotta stop talking about lard. But you pan fry a piece of sourdough bread in lard, of course. So you don't need a toaster. Fry all your bread in lard or butter. And you pan fry it in lard, and then you take some of the cool lard, just in case there's not enough on the bread, and spread a thick layer of lard on the bread, and then you drizzle honey on that. And that's amazing. Like 3 bites is 8 million calories. Like, you're good. So what remains after removing the leaf lard is this little sweet skirt steak. This is part of the diaphragm. This is the skirt steak of a pig. It's much bigger on a cow, but this is a very delicious cut, and it's actually tender enough to pan fry. So you just pan fry that hot and fast. Very tasty, really good. All right, then before we do the last removal of, second to last, the hind leg quarter, I'm gonna take out the tenderloin, which is exactly where you would find it on a deer. It's the psoas major, I think, and it's just in the small of the spine. And the tenderloin is so tender that it's very easy to rip it apart by hand. And so I do get most of it out by hand, but just draw your fingers in the direction of the head, because that's with the grain of the meat. Because if you go the other way, you'll shred it. That's how tender it is. And this is the little muscle right next to it with a little bit of fat on it, perfect for the sausage bin. That can go in there. And then this is your little tiny pork tenderloin. Super tender. You see how light the color is compared to the skirt steak, which is much darker because it gets more use, like literally with every breath. That's why this is more flavorful, and this is the blandest cut of all on a pig. The tenderloin is very bland. It's like, I consider it baby food because babies can chew it. It's very, very tender.
Brandon, how are your bins set up?
Yeah, when I do this on my own in my shop and I'm more in production mode, I do have a bin separation system that's efficient. One is for sausage and ground, because I like to keep a sufficient proportion of fat in that one, which we'll talk about, so it's all boneless in there, ready for the grinder. One is for bones that'll go to the stock pot, and then one is for meat that I'm going to cure, and then finally meat that I'm going to just wrap and freeze. So I think that's 4 tubs. So you're never going to have too much table space when you build your butcher shops next to your kitchens. You're never going to have too much. You'll love table space, and you will also never resent having about, 800 bus tubs. You'll just sorting, moving, and keeping track of meat. I use them for curing vessels, for mixing sausage, like everything. They're $4.99 at the restaurant supply store. The bus tubs are great. All right, so we got the tenderloin off. Now we're going to do the final quartering here. And this one is going to follow the crook of the spine. So you can see this is where the tail was. The spine takes a hard angle right here, and then it goes that way. So it does one of these, right? And if you go and just spot that angle and move one vertebra in the direction of the head, that, just like in between the fourth and the fifth rib, this disc that separates that vertebra from the one right next to it, one vertebra after that crook in the spine, that's where we're going to separate the loin from the leg. You can't see it, but that's where the pelvis ends, just like we separated it here where the shoulder blade ends, if that makes sense. So we're keeping the pelvic heavy use meat out of the loin, and here we're keeping the shoulder blade heavy use meat out of the loin. And if this, it's going to be hard to see all of this as we go, but I do have this whole process available for your review in the Meatsmith membership, which is my online membership that I have on farmsteadmeatsmith.com. And for this week, I lowered the price on that for the Expo, and I've got videos that detail this whole process. And you can go sign up for that at a discounted rate and lock it in. And everything is here, including all of the curing, so you can get a much closer view and review all of this at farmsteadmeatsmith.com. All right, so in the traditional peasant kitchen, we're basically done with butchery. This is the extent of it. This would go to sausage. You'd still get some shoulder bacon and some lardo out of that. This would go, of course, to ham, like that little guy over there, the whole back leg. And then this part, they called this the middle. And this was, in Britain at least, the whole thing's bacon. The whole thing is bacon. So they would not even do chops. You cut it this way, take the bones out, and you bacon both sides. And they call, actually to this day, the belly part of bacon, which is what we think of as bacon, they call that streaky bacon, and they call this part back bacon. And it's awesome. It's really, really good. So for our purposes, we'll separate the belly from the loin now. And this is, like everything we're doing today, a culinary decision. You look right here and you think, what looks like a tasty chop? I think that does, right about there. That looks like a good chop. Then I'm gonna mark the skin with my knife. I'm gonna make a corresponding line over here on the skin. Look at this and think, what looks like a good chop size? Maybe right about there. And then I'm going to connect the dots with my knife. So I just run it in all the way to the bone, drawing it on the ribs, and then right here the ribs end, so I can go all the way through and out. So now I have cut away all of the meat, so all I have to do is come in with my saw and saw each rib. And I find, tactily, it's a little easier just to do one rib at a time. You gum up the meat if you try to get all of them at once. So you just shoot the saw down. If you've got the blade oriented to cut on the push, and you nick each rib that way. All right, and then what you're left with are 4 quarters. So this part that we just completed has not been done by a conventional butcher in a grocery store since the 1980s. This is not done. This is all done in the central processing facility where the animals are being slaughtered, and then they even bone it out, and then they put it in plastic, and then they ship it all over the world and the country before it finally gets to the butcher in the grocery store. And he just unwraps the plastic, trims even more fat off of it, and basically just cuts it up into steaks or whatever his cut list requires. And the whole time it's being shipped in plastic, in refrigeration, soaking in its own blood, and they try to call that wet aging to make it sound like it's on purpose, but really it's just an accident of centralized processing and extensive distribution. If you could just remember those, cut between the 4th and the 5th rib, find that crook in the spine, go 1 vertebra in the direction of the head, that's where you separate the loin from the leg. You can figure everything else out from here, right? You know this was where the spine is This is all tender. This is all hot and fast. It's also kind of long and rectangular, so I'm just going to do this. And if you do that, you have chops. That's what chops are. This is your belly, clearly, right? You know what to do with that. This is your bacon. And the shoulder, cut off the front leg, and if you were just geometric, you took this squarish piece and you went like that and then like that, congratulations. You have Boston butts and picnic shoulder roast. Done. And then back here, you just take off the leg, the hock, and then cut it right here to get the rump or the sirloin off. You're gonna have ham, hock, trotter, and a sirloin roast. 1, 2, 3, cuts. And you're kind of done. And you can break up the whole pig that way. It's very quick, it's very simple. And your confidence to do that comes from your skill with the pot, the pan, or the oven, as you know what to do with all of these various parts. So, to break it down further, we'll start by preparing this belly for curing, and all that means you don't have to do this, but what we typically do is remove the spare ribs. And so I just hug the bone with my knife, drawing it against the bone the whole way. And the spare ribs are going to have a slight triangular shape to them. And my goal in extracting the spare ribs is to leave as much meat on the belly as possible, for reasons that need not be justified because they are self-evident. It will become bacon, and I think that's even why we call this spare ribs. Anything that comes off the bacon is considered spare. Nonetheless, there's plenty of meat in between each rib. Like, this is still plenty. I don't peel the membrane, leave it on there. It's holding fat, glorious, delicious fat on the meat. And this is a tough cut. So just cook it long enough to break it down and make it tender in moisture, in moist heat. You could literally braise it, or you could barbecue it, you know, again, wrapped in something that traps moisture, in foil or even in a pot in the barbecue. And those would be your spare ribs. So good. And if you cook it long enough, as you should, basically as long as it takes to fire the coals and for them to die out, that's how you know when it's done, then that membrane will just melt. It's meltingly tender. It's not tough or chewy at all. It's delicious. All right, here's our beautiful belly. Nice thick belly. This is a Duroc trait for sure, to have good thick bellies like this. And we'll talk about this more, but we're gonna prepare this for curing. What that means is I am removing flaps, bits of meat, and there's actually not a lot here, that could possibly harbor water. This would be for sausage. And then, so that it fits our curing vessel, I'm going to cut it straight in half, because our curing vessel is going to be a bus tub, and we want it to fit flat in the bus tub when we begin curing this, which we will do momentarily. That's the belly. All right, then maybe we'll do this so you can see. This is the shoulder. On the shoulder you have the trotter, the hock. This bottom part of the shoulder here, basically the spine and below, they call the picnic shoulder. And from below the spine up to the top is the Boston butt, even though it's at the head end of the pig. And that's because in a place called Boston, they used to ship these in barrels packed in salt. And an archaic word for barrel is butt. And we'll get this trotter off just with our knife. I'm going to show you how to joint it. If you bend the trotter, it bends at two primary joints. You could saw it off, that'll work. But it's more tactilely gratifying to knife it off. And it bends at 2 points, so you can go right in between those joints with your knife. You can't really see it, but there is a joint there, and it will pop right off. So I bend it, hold it off the table, and push down with my free hand. And then you don't have to bear down on the bone. I'm just pushing with my hand to expose the ligaments and tendon that are hold the trotter onto the hock. And this is Flavor Town right here. It's got like I don't know if you can see that, synovial fluid, joint fluid in there. There's no meat on this. This is all connective tissue. It's all ligament, tendon, and skin, all of which are far more flavorful objectively than lean meat, than lean skeletal muscle. This is naturally sweet and savory. Like it's got a built-in teriyaki thing going on right now. You just need to braise it. This is the essence of a braiser. It's so tough. This is totally inedible until you simmer it for a long time and it breaks down. Because this is designed to support all the weight of the pig on their tippy toes. All pigs walk only on their toes. And they support their ponderous mass on just that. And so to break this down, it has to be simmered for about an hour and a half, just in water. You could make it delicious and simmer it in like some milk with a bay leaf and some water and onions studded with cloves, like a British one from the 1960s. And it will be super delicious, fall apart tender, and then you serve it. You just gnaw off the melted collagen, from which we even hung the pig yesterday, right? That thing becomes edible and delicious and sweet. No meat, all connective tissue. This is one of the favorite meals of my family, is a mess of trotters. We just do braise a bunch of trotters for everybody. So good. All right, to take off the hock then, we've got a elbow right up here, and it's kind of a tricky joint, but I like to joint it. You can saw it. If you saw it, you do get the advantage of releasing the marrow. So this is an arm bone, it's a tube, so it's got marrow in it. And because this is down by the front leg, it's also extremely tough. And so if you saw it, you release that marrow, you open up the bone. And when you're braising this, that marrow enriches the cooking liquid, the broth. You got a question, Doctor?
Yes. Going back to the hook.
Yeah.
Do you still simmer it in the water first and then pickle it, or do you just do all that?
Good question. Yeah, how do you make pickled pig's feet? The way that I like to do it is to brine the trotter first. So I'll give you a brine recipe really quick, that this is your all-purpose brine for all things pork. It's a very salty brine, but it will accommodate everything that you might desire to brine on a pig, one whole pig, and it will fit in 2 5-gallon food-grade buckets, basically. And that is 14 quarts of water, right? Yeah, 14 quarts of water to 4.5 pounds of salt and 4.5 pounds of sugar. The sugar's optional. It's really nice, but not essential. 14 quarts of water, 4.5 pounds of salt, 4.5 pounds of sugar. So you boil the water. And then once it gets boiling, turn off the heat, dump in the salt and the sugar, and then whatever else you want. You could put like herbs and stuff in there. Nutmeg, pie spices, yeah. For salt, the salt I prefer for brining, dry salting, seasoning sausage, all the things is just natural sea salt. Yeah. It's easier to say which salts not to use because it's a shorter list. So technically all salts will work. Some are irksome. And those would be the Morton's kosher salt. It's just made in a lab. It's like pure sodium chloride. It's an unpalatably salty salt, if that makes sense. It's way too salty. And the flake structure just makes it, I think it's bitter too. I don't like the flavor of it, but that's Morton's kosher salt. Okay, technically it would still work, I just don't like it. And then the other one is iodized salt. Don't use iodized salt. And then I try to avoid, though it will work, salt with anti-caking agents in it. Like table salt will have magnesium stearate, and that, just so it stays powdery and doesn't cake up. So just sea salt, just distilled ocean water is great. Redmond salt, Himalayan pink salt, those will work great. Celtic sea salt, if you want to spend a little more on your salt, it's awesome. It is worth it. It's cool, and it's really good. It's not a very salty salt, because it's got a lot of other minerals, and it's even moist, which is really cool. So once you make your brine with any of those salts, you stir the salt and the sugar in your pot, and then you take that pot and you refrigerate it. So it chills, and that usually takes all night. Now the next morning, it's refrigerator cold. Then you dump that into your plastic Cambros, your plastic buckets, and you put your meat in there. And refrigerate the whole thing and just ensure that the meat is submerged below the level of the brine. So my high-tech method for that is a dinner plate, it just inside the circumference of the bucket with a mason jar full of water.
Hi.
And
Okay.
another thing that people do is they'll buy one of those big
Tell
white
your mom I might not
coolers
have recorded.
and
I might
put
not have
the
been
brine
recording.
in there, and then ice right all the way around it, and then shut the lid. That works pretty good.
You
and
are
that'll
now,
keep
though,
for a
right?
while as well. So to actually make your
I can't tell you how
pickled
many
pig's
times
feet
I've done that.
in that
I've done that
context,
quite a bit. I'm
you
supposed
would put
to,
them in
know how to
that
work my
brine.
camera.
And
There's been
anything that
so
goes
much
in
I've
that
missed
brine is
because
going to
I
be
thought I was recording and I
really
wasn't.
salty. So anything that comes out of that brine, you got to remove salt from it somehow, or else it's just going to
Anyway,
like smack you in the face with
I'm gonna
salt.
pause
It'll
it.
be unpalatable.
And they are going to that forced world. They just don't know where to start and where to go. Oh, okay. And so that's where I'm like, okay, well, let me find.
Smile. It's actually video.
I think my mom was looking for you.
Oh, okay. Just testing out my button that I have that I can turn this thing on and off with.
That's it. But luau's are awesome. Pit roasting is awesome. Just find someone who knows how to do it, not someone who volunteers to do it. Those are different people. Very different people.
Say cheese, although you're on video, you're not. You're not on. No. I found your picture today. Let me turn this. What's up? So, I broke my other selfie stick, so I don't really know. I don't really know how to use this one.
Wait.
Dancing.
Right here. No, not yet.
Well, go ahead. What do you think?
I don't know what to think.
Yeah. I got Sean dancing. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I got him. All right, go ahead. I got you. Say hello. Oh, you know what? We have to do it this way.
Okay. Hi, how are you guys?
I'm still learning this YouTube stuff.
Well, you're doing a great job.
I mean, I've been doing it for, 4 years? But I think I have maybe 55 to 60 videos.
Yeah,
Because I don't do it full time.
yeah.
So-
Well, you're doing a great job. We always love seeing you guys when you guys come out to the Okie Homesteading Expo.
Okay.
That was an accomplishment, though.
Okay, we're recording now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, say hi.
Hi.
Why is it not wanting to bring you in? Why do I have
There
to
we
do
go.
that?
Right
Say
there.
hi.
Right there. That's the way it is.
It's just the way, I don't know. Just
Everything's
the way cameras
backwards.
go.
LG Homestead.
So I was told by several people on our channel that I was supposed to give you a hug.
Who told you that?
Tina Reese, R-E-I-S, however, spoken last name. Harry. I think was her name.
Several people, huh?
Okay, two.
Two? It's a lot of people.
A couple to me is a lot.
Did we not hug yesterday? Oh, yes, for me. Yesterday?
You. But that was for me. So this has got to be on video.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
heavy. Holy
It's heavy?
smokes.
Okay, you can give me a hug
Yeah,
there, because it's hard. It is heavy, isn't it?
it is heavy. Yeah, I broke my other one yesterday.
That's still recording.
No, it stopped.
No, it's still recording. Oh, it paused.
What do you want to drink? What do you want to drink?
You have to pause it to turn it around.
What?
Why do you have to pause it to turn it around? Why can't you just turn it around?
I don't know. Some phones will,
Some
but
phones will.
some won't.
So this is Kevin
Yep.
from oh, my mind just went blank. Don't even say
You want a hint?
Brown's Family Farm.
There you go.
How could I even forget that one? So
Yeah.
I mean, yours was one of the first shirts that we got. So anyway, we're into the exhibit center now. Let's see if we pick anybody up. Hello. There, I picked somebody up.
How are you?
Gary Walker. I'm fine. I'm Ed's wife, Sue.
Oh, okay.
So,
Ed Sweeten?
Yeah. And I don't know who you are because there's no way on earth that you are Ranger.
I am.
Oh my gosh.
He just won't quit growing. I don't know what happened.
Go ahead.
Nate, I'll have to find the updated one to share with you because it was really nice. But it's just neat to see that you get a property to move into and you really end up in a group.
His mom. Okay. Okay, so I like the detail behind it. Are you not going to look at anything you're walking by?
I'm just looking at stuff and walking by.
Okay. That'll give me time to save up better anyway.
The plant-based bench outside. Look at that. Oh, there's lots of nice big flat out.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah, but they're in the back of the.
Oh, sorry.
Did you make all this stuff?
Yeah, I don't get why this is doing this. It's doing something weird. What are you doing?
We're watching for a picture up there because we got a knife. I got a knife last year. Hey, look.
Is that one of the
That looks like Sarah. Doodle.
I like the pineapple. I've had that. I didn't have the grapefruit though. No. Do you have any grapefruit?
You have the pineapple.
How about this for a drone? Hey, can you say hi? Hello, you are pretty. You're pretty. Yes, you are. Where's your other horn? You just got one horn. You couldn't make up your mind, huh? So you just chose to have one? Look at all them cows.
County. Yep.
Well, hang on. Anyway, we had a wonderful, wonderful time. The first year that we went, we really didn't know anybody, and so we didn't get to talk to anybody. This year, we knew, we'd been on following the YouTube people for such a long time that we knew them, and they knew our names. They didn't know us, but they knew our names. So once I'd tell them my name or Ed would tell them his name, they're like, oh, okay, I know you. And so I met Amy from, why can I never remember her channel?
Living abundant life.
Living an Abundant Life. No, Abundant Grace?
Living abundant grace.
Yeah. I met her, and she is she's an absolute gem. And
Do you have any quarters?
we had a good time talking. And so Lori,
Do you have it?
no, I have no quarters on me. Cassie and Gary, and then all the kids have grown up, and you'll see them in the videos. I did a lot of videoing. In fact, I videoed until my camera died. So a lot of the afternoon stuff I was unable to do because my camera died. But I did watch them take that pig from yesterday and section it into different parts, which was just incredibly fascinating. And I'm debating whether I want to have it on this YouTube or if I want to just do a separate video of it, because some people might not want to see it. But there was nothing gross about it at all. I mean, there was no blood or anything like that. It just looked like meat, like when you go to the grocery store and you buy it. But he was cutting it up in different sections and showing how the different sections were and what you could do with them. And I mean, there were things. Get the wrinkles on me. There were things that he talked about that I never even thought of doing, and so we got some good cooking ideas out of him. So anyway, I am very hot and very sunburnt, so I'm gonna head home and try and find my aloe vera and put it on me, and I will talk to you maybe tomorrow, for sure tonight. I'll close it out tonight. I don't know what our plans are for tomorrow. I have a feeling our plans for tomorrow are going to be to do absolutely nothing. So, talk to you later. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. Well, gang, I'm going to hit the hay. It's time for us to go to bed. I think it's like 9:30, and we're spent. Our doggies are very happy that Mommy and Daddy are home because they've been alone for 2 days, so they aren't leaving our side now. So I am still praying about separating the two videos. I'm going to rewatch and see how it goes, and if it goes okay, I'm going to keep it in. If not, I'll do the pig butchering separately. But there's no blood, there's nothing gross. It's nothing like when you go and you buy pork at the grocery store. It looks just like that. So my eyes have been watering all day, can you tell? Anyway, it was a great day. We had a wonderful time, and not for any other reason other than to say they are some amazing people. Dutch and Brandy, Kevin and Rachel, Cassie and Gary. Trying to think of everybody that was there that was busy working. Stephanie and Brandon and Kevin and Kimberly. Did I leave anybody out? If I left anybody out, I really want to apologize. But you guys made this such a good expo. I mean, I remember in 2023 it was good, but this was really good. And thank you for letting us help and be a part of it. It made the expo so much more fulfilling to both of us. And our hope and our prayer is that next year we can come back and again be able to help you guys get off a good expo. Even if it was just moving chairs and picking up chairs and stuff. So, but we love you guys, and we had a wonderful time. Good night, everybody. I don't know if I'll be videoing tomorrow because I may not get out of bed. Not really, but I don't know what time I'll wake up tomorrow. So we'll video later. I'll probably take a walk around the motorhome with the dogs and video that. So, but anyway, like and subscribe, ring that notification bell, and God bless you all.